Serious, what is the fastest way you have seen someone ruin their life? Watched a guy gamble $30,000 away in a night and then cried about losing his life savings, and security had to get involved and escort him out because he started to get angry at the dealers because all they could offer him was free night stays at the hotel for playing so much, but he wanted free play at the tables slots and they refused. A close friend of my best friend grabbed his 8-year-old son's new skateboard and took off down a hill in Georgia. Hit a rock, landed on his head and had permanent brain damage. He lived years before he mercifully died. Had to be restrained the whole time because the damage made him erratic and violent. Wear a helmet. A senior girl from my college pushed another girl she was friends with off a 30-meter bridge into water as a joke, broke her neck and collarbone, and she's permanently in a wheelchair. One use of meth. Seen so many people and friends jump right off the deep end by just trying it. And after 20 years have yet to jump out of the self-made dumpster fire that is their life. Nasty shit, meth. Arrive at work on their first day as a temp at around 10 a.m., caught stealing the boss's wallet at 12:30, taken away by police at 1 p.m. I posted this once before. I had a friend that had a promising career got upset and went into full road rage for a woman who forgot to turn her blinker on, and he slightly bumped her back bumper on the freeway, causing her to lose control and flipping over and killing the driver and her 2 daughters. Was all caught on his car dash cam and a tracker with his own dash cam that was behind him. He is now doing 40 years in prison. Dude I know won a $3 million settlement from being hit by a car. Spent it all on heroin and was dead within 3 years. Under 30 years old. My daughter's boyfriend, July 4, 2023. Hopped in his car blackout drunk to come see my daughter. DUI and hit run. He is just about to begin a painful, life-altering process. The kid in the National Guard posting government secrets online for internet cred. The construction to amphetamines pipeline. I've seen 2 very good and competent men fall to absolute ruin in the space of 4 months because of this. My sister started doing meth and heroin. She went from super smart to completely dumb. By the age of 19 she was already a felon. No one in the family wants to help her anymore, cause each time we tried, either sending her to rehab or tried getting her sober, she would just go back to it. Was supposed to go to college, but now she's 22 and stays at different people's houses and begs people for money. Completely cut me and everyone else off from her cause she thinks us trying to help her is us being jealous and not wanting her to be happy in life. Have a friend who had a drinking problem and got into an argument with a gas station worker while drunk. The worker tried stopping his car by standing in front of it and my friend ran him over and killed him. Wife, career, freedom, everything lost. A previous classmate of mine robbed and shot a taxi driver in the back of the head when he was 17-14. Edit, I remembered incorrectly. The classmate was 14 at the time, pretty sure he had dropped out of school, but this was close to 30 years ago. There was a 17-year-old accomplice that planned it but didn't actually pull the trigger. If you want to Google it, LeVar Jones, Lancaster, Pennsylvania should do the trick. A high school friend drove drunk and killed the local doctor of a small town. Last I heard, he was still in prison. I watched this clip on Reddit where these 2 kids were posing with a gun. The girl in the video accidentally shot the boy in the head. She panicked and shot herself. That shit changed me, it all happened so fast. I don't think the clip was longer than 30 seconds. Bar fight. Heard a loud commotion for about 30 seconds. Some guy thought this guy was hitting on his date. Suckered punched him. The other guy fell down and clipped the bar. The bar had brass footrest at the base. Snapped the guy's neck so loud you could hear it across the room. Crime, specifically felonies. My lawyer took out a loan forging my signature. He's doing 15 years in federal prison. I would have given him the $5,000. His kid was very sick and I would have gladly helped him out. I know a guy who came home drunk to his parents' house, got in an argument with his stepfather and punched him once. Stepfather died. Guy ended up in prison on a murder conviction. That guy who did the ask me anything or whatever it was after trying heroin once and claimed he had the strength to never do it again. Spoiler alert, he did it again. A lot of times. I knew someone who had a full scholarship to an in-state university. He got addicted to heroin, overdosed, fell into a coma and now is confined to a wheelchair and has the mental capacity of a toddler. It happened within 2 or 3 years. A coworker sent an explicit text to a new hire using the company comms system. She pretended to be interested and then reported him, with a very long thread as proof. Dude was married, with kids, a supervisor. Now divorced, kids hate him, works a low-level job. Dude I worked with came back after a weekend and told everyone he had tried meth, and he liked it. Like a month later he came into my workspace and asked for a pair of pliers. I gave them to him and he pulled a tooth right there in front of me like it was nothing. He quit shortly after, not sure what happened to him. He was very young, like 20 maybe. Girl's divorce sent her into a manic episode. Her friends understood, but she lost her medical license that she had less than a year because she posted patient information on social media. She lost her job, made her lose her income, so she lost her home. She decided to stay in nice hotels from the mania and was in debt by the end of 2 weeks. Had a friend that had the perfect girlfriend, a good career path, and just so many things going his way. Then the dude picked drugs over his girlfriend and basically he gave up on everything for drugs. I haven't heard from the guy in about 7 years, so TBH, I don't even know if he's still alive. The numbnut that carved on the Colosseum. My old friend ran across the street without looking because her dog was getting attacked by a snake. The car was probably going over 60 miles per hour and it ran into her. She's alive to this day, but she did suffer serious and permanent injuries. This happened years ago, by the way. It was traumatizing for her and everyone, including me, that saw it happen. At that time, I lived in a third world country, so the streets were busy as hell. The amount of time it took for him to finish his first bump of coke. He was hooked instantly and been chasing it ever since. He's been hospitalized at least once, and as many as 4 times, due to complications that are hitting him harder and harder. A coach at the school I worked at led the boys' basketball team to state and was awarded Coach of the Year. Comments on the post about his award started filling up with sexual assault accusations from former students. Obviously, an investigation was immediately launched and he shot himself in the head by the end of the week. Literally went from being awarded and praised to dead by suicide within days. Left behind a wife and 2 young kids. My cousin fell for one of those to catch a predator-style police stings. The day of the sting he posted something on his Facebook about going to have a great night. I even responded saying, "Awesome man, have fun." Well, that night he tried to meet a 14-year-old girl for sex and found a bunch of cops instead. Was charged with multiple felonies, got kicked out of his PhD program, lost his job, lost his wife, killed himself 2 months later. He was 28 years old and had everything going for him. Great job, crazy book smarts, a bright future with his family. A guy from the general area I lived in. Him 18 at the time and girl broke up, ended up kidnapping her 3 weeks later and shooting her twice in the head with a handgun he took of his parents' gun safe. Tried driving 5 hours away to his grandparents' ranch to hide the body, ditched his phone driving down the highway. SWAT team was waiting for him when he showed up at said ranch. Made news headlines in CO. Drugs. My father went from a normal, functioning individual with a house and a $200K yearly salary to a man sleeping in his BMW, with bad tags, outside a church, in the course of about 18 months, all because he'd much rather smoke his life away than live normally or be a grandfather. I've seen a lot over at a Wall Street bets where people buy puts and literally burn their life